Harrigan live in Grand Isle, Louisiana. Steve, thank you. Harris?
Well, speaking of this oil disaster, it appears most Americans are disappointed with the president's response to the oil crisis. Take a look. A Fox News opinion dynamics poll finding 68% of people are dissatisfied and say the president did not act aggressively enough. So, is imposing tough punitive sanctions or even criminal proceedings against BP the way to go? For a fair and balanced debate, two communication pros, Bonjean, former communications director to Speaker Denny Hastert and former senior advisor to Senate Majority Leader Trent Lott, and John Neffinger, Democratic strategist with KMP Communications. Gentlemen, welcome to you both. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Harris.
Ron, I'm going to start with you. You say Americans don't believe big government can solve big problems, and this is proof.
Well, I think that's right. You know, government's supposed to set the conditions for solving problems, but not necessarily solve the big problems themselves, and we're seeing that right now. I mean, they're supposed to set conditions to create a better economy for more jobs, but when you see every day the BP oil spill gushing out of the tank, people begin to think to themselves, well, if they can't plug the leak, and if they can't get BP to plug the leak, how could they possibly grow jobs? How can they possibly grow the economy? I think you're going to see Republicans start using that talking point on the campaign trail.
So is suing BP, John, the answer to getting, any of the support from the American public back?
Well, I don't know about suing. That implies a civil action. I think what we're talking about here is a criminal action. I mean, we're talking about a company who, back in 2005, killed 15 people at the Texas oil refinery explosion. Now they killed another 11 here. So, recently our Supreme Court said that corporations should be treated like people. If so, we're talking about a mass murderer here. So how many people do they have to kill before they're not allowed to walk free anymore?
And Ron, if BP actually broke the law, shouldn't the U.S. go after it?
Absolutely.
But you say, yeah, but what?
No, I would say yes. They should absolutely go after BP to the fullest extent of the law. If they broke the law, go after them, put them in jail. Absolutely, no question about it. No one is trying to defend BP here.
All right, let's take a look at what the president and his administration are dealing with right now. I mentioned that poll, that Fox News Opinion Dynamics poll. Take a look at this, because we've seen the president in recent days do everything from be stoic to emotional to angry to using curse words. And we don't know if, in fact, it's in response to what the public is saying, if he's trying to make it look like he feels, one thing about this. But take a look at this. How would you describe the president's response to the oil spill? Would you say it's compassionate? He gets a positive mark on that. But look at the next one. Did the president's response to the oil spill show strong leadership? Back in negative territory. 53% of people saying no. They question that. And then was he fast acting enough? 65% of people say no. There's clearly a problem here for this president and the administration. Does going after BP make up the difference, Ron?
Well, I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to use BP to show that, trying to go after BP to show that they're trying to, speed up the response. However, first impressions are pretty good. And, it took him a long time in his administration, quite a while, to recognize the gravity of the issue. And that set, people's feelings in cement. Going after BP, getting them to stop a leak, that's great. We all want to see that happen. But you can tell President Obama has been thinking A, B, and C, while the American people have been thinking X, Y, and Z. There's been a disconnect here, and he's been trying to get it right. And it seems very different from when he was on the campaign trail. Absolutely.
As a Democratic strategist, John, I have to say, when I read your words on this, I was a little surprised. You concede that the president was tone deaf on this oil spill in the beginning.
I think so. We know now that he was actually on the case right from the very beginning, and they were working behind the scenes. But for some reason, it seems like the president's team didn't think the public would be interested to know that. And so it wasn't until several weeks later, when he held his press conference and talked about all the efforts going on behind the scenes, that we were really able to see and appreciate that he was on top of this. And that's created all of this feeling that we're talking about now.
I'd just like to say, if the president was really serious about this, what I would have done if I were him in the beginning is move down to the Gulf. Stay down there for Memorial Day week and make it a huge priority. Make it a very symbolic priority for everyone to respond to it. That would have helped solve this problem that he's in right now.
Well, effectively, that's kind of what he's doing, because he's back down there this week with talk that he may even meet with the BP CEO, Tony Hayward, which hasn't happened until now. John, I want to give you the last word.
Well,
are you disappointed in your party's leader?
I completely agree with Ron. I would have liked to see him be more visibly involved in this. Not that it's not important to do the stuff behind the scenes, but absolutely to get out there. I do disagree with Ron, though, about that talking point. You cannot see the live feed from that leak without thinking. The private sector cannot be left alone. We need the government there as the people's representative to provide some oversight. This is just, I think this is the falling of the Berlin Wall for the fundamentalists, anti-regulatory people on that side of this debate. So I think it's a challenge for Obama, but it's a bigger challenge for the right.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. John and Ron, we'll have to do it again next time.
Thank you.
Speaking of which, there is an effort underway now to try to make the most of the mess and help those suffering recover a little bit. How about a souvenir bottle of oil? That's right, the limited edition item is scooped from Louisiana waters and will cost you about $1,000, although we're told you can probably haggle a little over the price. The idea came during a brainstorming session at one oyster company about how to help fishermen in the Gulf. The money raised will go to those who might not have an easy time applying for aid through BP or government programs. Marking an anniversary with a call to awareness, journalist Roxana Saberi enjoying freedom after months